I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Mr. Otis Rolley, candidate for mayor of Baltimore City. How are you?
I'm doing well, Donnie. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be on.
Pleasure's all ours. When you were down at housing, you ran planning.
When I left housing, I became the planning director for the city in 2003.
One of the critiques that I'm hearing in the street, or at least from people, not even the streets, more from people who are aware of politics and how the city works, is well, he was downtown. He was part of the problem. He was familiar with Park Heights. What's happened in Park Heights? He's aware of the 47,000 vacant houses that Be More News has been covering in East Baltimore, West Baltimore, Park Heights, even in Bolton Hill. Your thoughts, your response.
Well, you often hear before you can deal with a problem, you have to admit that it exists, right? And for the first time in a long time, you had with me as planning director somebody who was recognizing the problem and then trying to lay out a solution. So, for example, in Park Heights, it took us 2 years to do a master plan in Park Heights. I don't regret that. If they had taken 2 years of time, energy, and effort in EBDI instead of just jumping into development, they maybe could have had a much more progressive, more productive development in EBDI, one that was more sensitive to the community and that worked with the community. I took those 2 years intentionally. There had been over 35 years of decline and disinvestment, of people lying to people in Park Heights. So it was 2 years of work that was well worth doing. And yes, I know people are frustrated still to this day in Park Heights that it hasn't turned around. But I am pleased with the work that we did because we laid out a game plan that didn't just look at how do we build new buildings. That's what they're trying to do in EBDI. They think the solution to the problems of East Baltimore are just new buildings.
Well, is the guy from who was at East Baltimore now over in Park Heights?
No. The guy who, no, the guy who's
Cheo Hurley?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about yes, Cheo worked over in East Baltimore, but he wasn't the head.
Was he responsible for displacing people in East Baltimore?
To the best of my knowledge, no. What I know is that he was the lead of the team of minority investors who were part of the EBDI development. But no, he wasn't. Jack Shannon was in charge of EBDI, and no, he's not involved in Park Heights Renaissance or in the redevelopment of Park Heights. So let me just say this. People say, well, you were planning director. Why weren't all the problems solved? I was a planning director. I was not mayor. And, the planning director works for the mayor and works for the citizens of Baltimore.
Did you make recommendations?
I made some awesome recommendations.
Like what? Help us out.
Like that we needed more drug treatment slots in Park Heights, that we needed more job training slots in Park Heights, that we needed to invest more in the educational institutions in Park Heights, that we needed more open space and recreational opportunities in Park Heights. Now, if your question is, why haven't those things happened?
Why haven't those things happened?
The answer would be this: because you have not elected me mayor as of yet. If you're not satisfied with a smart plan that does smart things that does not get implemented, you have to check who is in charge of implementation. Who has the power of the purse? It is our mayor. You want to change that, then elect me as mayor on September 13th. I've laid out a plan that is responsive to the community, that makes sense in terms of building people and building buildings, and strengthening that neighborhood. 35 years of decline. 17 of those years, the current mayor was in elected office and in positions of power and in positions of authority. She has not changed the course, and she's not going to change the course. I can. So yes, I was involved in Park Heights, but I'm proud of my work in Park Heights because I laid out a plan on how do we get from where we are to where we need to be. And the only way I'm going to be able to implement that plan is if the people of Baltimore elect me on September 13th. Because a wise plan is only a wise plan unless you have a strong leader willing to implement that plan. I want to bring that strength and leadership to City Hall and to our neighborhoods. And I hope to have that opportunity to do that.
Otis Rolley for mayor. Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.